Hello, Tacticians! Between the currently ongoing Dark Angel's home screen event that gives out his relic for basically free and a guildie having asked for help with his Mythic journey, I figured Forcas is as good a hero as any to visit next. Very theoretically, because mine is at Silver 2. Mission 1. Defeat 7 enemies with Forcas in one turn. Normally, I absolutely loathe battle fatigue missions, but this one should be clearable cheaply by virtue of Forcas cleaving unlimitedly. Just find an open map with grots. The first mission of Forcas' Mythic journey is for him to defeat 7 enemies in one turn, and I think that's gonna work rather well here in Elite Mirror Octarius 7 with the right setup. So I'm gonna start like this, and I'm immediately gonna switch Forcas to the sweep mode, to the cleave mode. Gonna move him here, where he will be as surrounded by enemies as possible and support him with Isabella. And also I'm gonna do my usual thing of trying to kill off all the ranged enemies before I start anything else really, because I don't want the boys damaging the grots with their grenades, so that I keep getting more grots. So bear with me for a bit while I do that. Okay, I think the boy is a priority here. Okay, almost done. And that's the last boy, so Dante can now return to the back line really. There. And there. Heal him up. Actually, I think I want to plug this line as well. And now I'm gonna wait until the grots fill all the hexes adjacent to these 3, meaning these 2 hexes still need filling. Come on, spawn more. There's not 15 of you here yet. There, that's 1. Okay. I probably won't want to go onto the wires, but I think that's fine. Okay, this will have to do. So now, when Forcas cleaves these 3 grots, he can also scare 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other grots. So eventually, with some luck, when he scares at least 4 like this, the mission will get completed. And the best thing about it is that you can reset it anytime you want, because Forcas just cleaves every turn. Now, if you have Asmodai like I do here, this makes the mission easier. Just let me spawn a few more grots. Okay, one more turn. Okay, this will have to do. So, it should be possible to trigger Forcas' attack by selecting a target for him with Asmodai, like this. Okay. It needs to be chaos. Okay. I didn't realize that. That changes things. Oh well. Anyway, so this is how you can do the mission using battle fatigue. With Asmodai, apparently you would have to go for Fall of Cadia or Mirror Fall of Cadia and try to scare off Cadians there, or well,
Chaos Guardsman. So had this been a Chaos enemy, Forcas would have attacked it and cleaved this, that and that, potentially scaring this, this and this, and then he still would have been able to attack himself and move and do it all over again. Well, that's not how it works here, so that's not what happened. Anyway, moving on.
Mission 2. Deal 50,000 damage with Forcas in one turn. This is a guild raid mission. At least for the next few years until Snowpricks have raised the rarity cap to Super Kawaii Limited Deluxe Pro Collector's Edition and heroes with the necessary 50k HP are a regular sight in the arena. I don't think my Forcas and Asmodai are up for recording a practical for this, so I'll have to keep this one to theoreticals only. The easiest way is probably going to be by triggering the lieutenant damage mechanics against the high tier Magnus's sidekicks with Forcas, assuming SP haven't yet patched this particular cheese out. The always available way is going to involve Forcas, Asmodai, Ragnar, Aunshi, and Kalgard, Rajan or Eldrion along with a Mythic Biowar. The ideal target would be Magnus or maybe even Mortarion, but hitting the Screamer Killer or Sarek may work as well if you replace Asmodai with another buffer. The general plan is to put Forcas adjacent to the boss, surround him with your other units to trigger his passive as hard as you can while making sure Asmodai is not in range to attack, use Ragnar's active twice, use Asmodai's active on the boss to trigger Forcas's attack on it, and then attack with Forcas conventionally. Between the 12 super buffed hits with at least a plus 100% final damage bonus, that should get the mission done easily. Mission 3. Defeat 100 enemies with overwatching Forcas. Finally, an automatable mission again. Pick your favorite Groticide stage, set up with Izzy or Nicodemus, and enjoy another episode of your currently favorite show while tapping the pass turn button.
Mission 3 of Forcas' Mythic journey is for him to defeat 100 enemies while he is overwatching, and Mission 5 is for him to deal 100,000 damage while he is overwatching. So they're basically the same mission, just pick whichever version you are currently on and it will work fine. So continuing on from my previous extempore here, I'm gonna switch Forcas to the Overwatch mode and move him closer to that high ground. I'm also gonna reset Izzy's Act of Faith by critting and move to bait stuff to Forcas. There, that's one. That's Izzy in place and healing everyone. That's Nicodemus patching up Dante, so now this stage is pretty much automated. There. Okay, looks like Forcas will need to be on high ground to score the kills more reliably, because the little shitlings have that diminutive trait and my Forcas is kinda small. But like this, he should have no problems scoring all the kills. Especially at Legendary, when he would attack more than thrice per turn. And eventually, the grots will start running up to him after spawning enough of them in the east. So you can really just keep passing turn. Maybe it's even better to do something like this. And yeah, just put some TV show on and return eventually. You can check your progress on Isabella's Act of Faith like this. She gets plus 10% crit chance for every Grot Forcas kills. So far he has killed 11 since she reset. And I'm pretty sure you have got the message now, so I'm just gonna call it a day. Moving on.
Mission 4. Score 30 hits with Forcas in one turn. This mission looks like an Asmodai check, because even with Vitruvius and Thoriad buffing his hits, I think Forcas' Overwatch chain ends up 2 hits short. I believe he only attacks up to 6 times in one turn. It should work with a melee hits up, but modes where these are available and enemies just rush into Forcas's open arms are rare. With Asmodai and Thoriad, it should be possible to complete this mission anywhere you can make Forcas cleave twice.
The fourth mission of Forcas's Mythic journey is supposedly for him to score 30 hits in one turn, and I think that should be possible here in the first stage of Mirrorfall of Cadia. Just bring Asmodai and Thoriad, switch Forcas to the cleave mode, and move him up. The Bloodletters should perfectly surround him, so on the next turn, bring Thoriad next, or well, in range of his passive to cover Forcas. Then use Asmodai's active on one of the Bloodletters to make Forcas attack him and cleave the other ones. And do the same on the other side with Forcas's normal attack. And that with Thoriad giving Forcas the extra total of 6 hits should complete the mission. Moving on.
Mission 5. Deal 100,000 damage with overwatching Forcas. This is pretty much mission 3 again, so I'm gonna recycle some footage.
Mission 3 of Forcas's Mythic journey is for him to defeat 100 enemies while he is overwatching, and Mission 5 is for him to deal 100,000 damage while he is overwatching. So they're basically the same mission, just pick whichever version you are currently on and it will work fine. So continuing on from my previous extempore here, I'm gonna switch Forcas to the Overwatch mode and move him closer to that high ground. I'm also gonna reset Izzy's Act of Faith by critting and move to bait stuff to Forcas. There, that's one. That's Izzy in place and healing everyone. That's Nicodemus patching up Dante, so now this stage is pretty much automated. There. Okay, looks like Forcas will need to be on high ground to score the kills more reliably, because the little shitlings have that diminutive trait and my Forcas is kinda small. But like this, he should have no problems scoring all the kills. Especially at Legendary, when he would attack more than thrice per turn. And eventually the grots will start running up to him after spawning enough of them in the east. So you can really just keep passing turn. Maybe it's even better to do something like this. And yeah, just put some TV show on and return eventually. You can check your progress on Isabella's Act of Faith like this. She gets plus 10% crit chance for every Grot Forcas kills. So far he has killed 11 since she reset. And I'm pretty sure you have got the message now, so I'm just gonna call it a day. Moving on.
And that's how I would go about completing my Forcas's Mythic journey if he were on it, which won't happen anytime soon, I think. While I find the Dark Angels in Tacticus a much more technical and interesting faction than, for example, the Blood Angels, and I suppose Forcas himself could be a solid counter to AI-controlled Judd by setting him up as bait for her to pounce on and get smashed, PvP, including the Guild Wars, isn't much of a priority to me. But I'm sure him smashing half of every melee wave in Onslaught or LRE on his own is nice. Okay, now I'm really scraping the bottom of the barrel, so it's probably time to call this one done. I hope it helped you or entertained you, and I'm making myself scarce. Until next time. Kaurin, out.